Hello, and welcome to another edition of ChaosTrainer. I just cleared my throat, I swear, before I started this, but every time. Alright, so, let's see what we have today. Sorry it's been so long since my last update. I had some family stuff I had to deal with, so. Um, this is our newest edition of the maze. Again, there's a level editor now, but needs some tweaking still. Let's go now 40 and we'll go 16. So as you can see, they're no longer colliding with each other. Okay, they are now ignoring each other's physics, ideally. And the reason for that is, and I'm going to put it back the other way, or actually I'm going to make it so you guys can choose in the game. But the reason for that is that they were all starting randomized. And so I'd have this one that scored really high, and then all of a sudden when I went to respawn it and see it and test it to see if it would do it again, it would not do anything near as well as it did before. And so my thoughts were, okay, like maybe it's because its starting position was slightly different, so the neurons fired in a different way, so let's have them start the exact same way just to test that theory. And again, it was just mainly to test that theory. And then they were bumping off each other, and it's like, okay, well, that means another one could throw it off. So I want it to behave the exact same each time to make sure that this is, their high scores are replicatable. And so I made it so they couldn't touch each other, so the level was going to be the exact same at the time. They also don't have any perception of each other, so they, if you look at their neurons, they're all Ken-C tile inputs except the bias neuron up there. Excuse me, I must be getting a cold. So right now we got a high score of 873. I'm going to let this run. We're running real short generations and high mutations and high starting neurons, which you'll again be able to adjust that in the game. But let's take a look at my BrainMaker config. So I've been over these before. This is the chance, 8% chance to adjust the neuron. 5% chance to add new neuron, 5% chance to add new dependent neuron. And then they breed now. Oh, I don't think I ever showed you guys the breeding screen. There we go. Cool. So this picked two random bots. Bot 1, species 7, and bot 1 species, or bot 0 species. It's a Gen 0 and a Gen 1. And if we scroll here, you can see that it looks at all their genes, which means all their neuron dependencies and all their neurons. And it basically creates another list. This third one's the child one with all of, I guess I don't have the scroll lock on that one, with all of the ones that, from the other two, basically. And it can choose which ones to take and which ones not to using the neat formula. So that's kind of how they breed when we do that. And so it's led to some pretty cool stuff. We already have one of them that managed to make it all the way up there, and it's only Gen 26. So let's go 1 and update. And we're going to all die off pretty much down to the last 1 or 2. There we go. And we're going to hit 1. All right, so interesting. I didn't select this guy. It's not the guy we're looking for. Oh, it didn't log its high score there, but it logged it over here. All right, I can see over here there's some type of bug, so we'll come back to that. Species 0. But 2, 8, 10. Oh! Alright, so this is a good thing. This is actually a really good thing. So it ran that bot twice, which is good. I have it triggered so if you get the high score for the generation, it'll respawn you. And so, if I hit respawn... Okay, so that's my problem right now. Look at that. It ran twice and it was just fine. And now it can't seem to make its way out of that hole. Oh, that's my fault. If I hit respawn twice in a row before he passes away, it'll come off the rails. So look at that. Now they're pushing the bodies around. That's not good. So that's a bug there. As you can see, this guy clearly should be destroyed. But that's the thing, is like they come back on and they don't do what they're supposed to do. Interesting. It doesn't detach the body properly, which is something else I've got to deal with on respawn. So, but if I let the other ones just go about their business, and it's detached as an entity. Interesting. I digress. The main thing is that the brains on respawn don't do what they're supposed to do. Now, this number where it shows that they had a high score of 976.2 and then kept, and then up to, indicates that this guy may have actually made it to the end. I gotta look into that. It looks to me like the debug position thing is not getting reset on respawn. So this basically, if I go to somebody else, hold on, where's my clear button? How does the clear button end up above that? If I hit follow on this guy, it shows you their path there. What I think I'm going to do is let's let this run again for a little longer. And let's follow that guy. I think I made it all the way up there. All right. And we're going to let that run for a little longer. And, hey, Super Jerry. And I'm just going to keep, let's see. So there's this one, there's some other settings here. Use binary neuron output. So that basically means if I go to 1, update, and I select this guy who looks like he's fairly active, instead of using a scale, so right before it was using a scale for like how close the thing was, now it's just using a Boolean 1 or 0. I can see it or I can't. So I switched that on to test some stuff. Hey, this guy's got a nice hidden neuron there. And then over here, oh, you can see I got the lines working. I had to hack something together. And then over here, you can see that the turn output is less than, 5. Basically, I rounded so it either becomes 1 or 0 after this. And if it's less than a certain amount, then it'll turn left. And if it's, if it rounds to 1, then it'll turn right, basically. And if this is, rounds down to 0, then they're not moving. If it rounds up, they are moving. So that's something I've experimented with. So that's a setting you guys are going to be able to play with. Otherwise, they move forward or turn at the scale proportionate to what the neuron's firing at. And that was just one thing I threw in there to test against. So another thing I did is the fitness manager config data. And again, you guys are going to have an interface to set all this stuff. But you've got your force new fitness block each generation, so that basically forces them to evolve by picking the highest scoring one each generation, even if it's not the highest scoring one of all time. So you can turn that one on and off. Randomized spawn position, I told you guys I turned off for good reason. These are the same as before. But the cool thing is these rules that you guys can be able to make. So, like for instance, tile enter. Whenever they enter a new tile, they can get points for that. And so say they get 10, but I put on force climb, which means that they have to enter a higher Y each time, so they can't. So like this guy here, if he enters this tile here, and then this one, he's not going to get points for this one. He's got to enter one higher, then one higher, then one higher to get the points for that one. So that guy seems to have come detached as well, if he's immune to lava. So I don't know what's up with the physics engine here. All right. So ticket temp 17. Oh, that must have been the guy I kept respawning. Yeah, so it's going to be tough to beat that score. I should probably put some type of clear high score button or something of that nature. Because otherwise they're not going to display. Man, I wish we would have caught that guy up there. Let's go back a little bit so we can at least see what they're doing. You know, so many of these detached bodies up here, it's going to be tough. I need to put a button to clear, to reset the screen. I thought that guy had learned to avoid lava, and he goes right in it. Sometimes they look like they've learned to avoid lava, and then, like that guy. So, that's pretty cool. You can see here his, where he's got most of his neurons from on the breed actions. I think they might be getting a little inbred. So I don't have that many species in here. And this counter doesn't work right. I got to figure that one out. That drives me nuts. Um, that guy scored a 670 something. You can follow him. This guy's clearly detached. He's that one yellow one that's attached, and he's getting pushed around by the other ones. I mean, there's a bunch of bodies up here that have gotten attached. That's actually like a new bug. I wasn't doing it. Oh, let's see what this guy's doing. 870 something. So almost made it. He almost made it up there. So another thing I just added, which I haven't actually implemented yet, is that they get a time bonus for hitting new blocks. So actually, we can probably implement that right now if we want to. I can't remember what it's called though. Let's see. Max life expectancy. That's what it is. Oh, cancel. Max life expectancy effect equals +5. So theoretically, actually, we don't need to put plus. It assumes it's a positive. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. So that means if they enter a new tile, they'll get +5 life there. So that'll make it so they can explore a little bit more. And then I think I have it in the Fitness Manager config somewhere here, there. Current life. Oh, wait, I can set it over here. That's right. All right, so we're going to have to restart this thing. Also, I can save and load, but sometimes it gets wonky, so I'm not going to play with that at the moment. All right, we're going to set this to 5 and see if they die off as quickly as I hope they will. It sounds bad, but I'll full screen this so you guys don't have to strain your eyes. So you got a pretty good life expectancy bonus for going up. Should probably log that over here so we can see it. This is actually an untested feature, so I could just be totally wrong here. Ideally, this will speed it up because we only, if they are, they don't move right away, then they'll die off pretty quickly. But if they start hitting new tiles, they'll get a little life expectancy bonus. All right, let's pump this up. We're going 50 at a time. So you got a high score of 537. I'd show you my stats page, but oh, oh, but it's a little messed up. Oh, for crying out loud! Breakpoints everywhere, evidently. Yeah, something's a little off with this page. It did not work out nearly as nice as the neuron panel, which doesn't make sense why it's overshooting stuff like that. So I got to go back there and rework this thing. It's supposed to show us the mean and max score for each species that we choose, but it needs work. So I think we've got a bug in here somewhere because it doesn't look like these guys are detaching properly, especially this one up here. They should just fade out after they die. So we can see these, if they make it a little higher, it looks like they get to exist a little longer, gives them more time to explore if they're making progress. But either way, that's the update for today for the most part. Um, they do learn over time. The problem is that that when I respawn them, they don't seem to have the same result on the second and third spawn. But I'm building tools to figure out what that. I've lost my phone here. I'm sorry. What that problem is, and we'll get to the bottom of it. Oh man, that guy almost made it up to the top. You see that? He's probably got the high score now. And once we figured out that, then I can make more complex puzzles than this little rinky-dink thing, and then we can add in back in communication and memory and all the exciting stuff, which is where I want to head with this. So we're not just staring at a bunch of dots on a screen, but it'll be the most interesting game of Pac-Man on the planet. So that'd be cool to add in some ghosts. Oh man, that guy up there, he did well. What? Oh yeah, that guy's going to be our high score. So if we follow him, you see that bounce back? We're going to try this one more time so you guys can see the problem I've got here. Hit update. Oh, we're going to go 16 for a second. There we go. Wow, a lot of detached bodies there. Oh wait, no, they're good. There's just these detached bodies, those are most likely respawns. So like that. See, okay, when I hit respawn, they bounce off each other. Look at that. Okay, so he didn't have anybody to bounce off of there. So he's not doing any behaviors like he did before. Like it just, and it looks, I mean, that's a valid neural net. What is he, a species 1? I hate it when generation 1s get the high score so easily. And then they can't redo it. So I'm going to figure out what the heck's going on with this guy. And we'll get to the bottom of this. All right. Thank you guys. Hop on Discord for the conversation. You guys' feedback and encouragement means a lot, especially when I hit tough moments like this. So thank you. Bye.